He is in custody, and we've already began to dissect his websites and the things that social media that he was on, and some of the things have come to mind are very, very disturbing.
That was Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel earlier this evening as investigators start to piece together a portrait of the teenager suspected in today's deadly shooting. And that picture, as you just heard him say, is, quote, very disturbing. Joining me now to talk more about the case, how it works being built against this suspect, Michael Gottlieb, a criminal defense attorney. He joins us now from Parkland, Florida, because you've got some personal connections, Michael, as well. I know your daughter is a young student, not at this school, but you all have friends there as well. How are they doing tonight?
You know, unfortunately, it's a very, very tragic situation. Everybody is traumatized. This is not what anybody expected on a regular Wednesday at school, on Ash Wednesday at school, or on Valentine's Day. It's just a very sad situation. Unfortunately, we know very many people who were injured and some who were killed. It's just a very sad, tragic day.
Oh, so now from a legal perspective, where does this go? We have multiple agencies involved. The shooter is in custody. In so many of these cases, nearly every one of them in the past 20 years, the shooter has either taken his own life or has been taken out by law enforcement or by an interceding hero or Good Samaritan, if you want to call them that. This individual has lived. He's going to have to go through the court system. He's going to have to talk to authorities. So what happens next?
Right. Well, he doesn't have to talk to authorities. He has a right to remain silent. It'll remain tomorrow. We'll see whether or not he did or he didn't speak to authorities. He's an adult, despite his age, 18, 19. I've heard conflicts. He's an adult. He will be tried in adult court. He is looking in Florida at the death penalty. He's looking at numerous counts of life felonies, second-degree felonies. Ultimately, what's going to happen is he will be arrested. He will have a magistrate court hearing tomorrow to determine whether or not he gets bond. It's very unlikely that he will be given a bond. He will be held in pretrial detention without bond. After that, he'll have an arraignment once the state files charges. It's going to take some time to file charges because there's numerous incidents that took place here at school. There's a lot for them to figure out.
Yeah, and the Attorney General Pam Bondi tonight talking about the fact that, you know, she's been a lifelong prosecutor, and she said, we got to gather facts, we got to know more about this, but based on what we know so far, if it turns out to be what we think at this point, he would absolutely, in her words, be facing the death penalty. She also had this to say tonight.
Parents, you've got to monitor this stuff, and if you see it, take everything seriously. Take every threat seriously and report it to law enforcement. We would rather you do that and be wrong 99% of the time than have anything happen in this world.
I mean, Michael, how tough is this when, whether you're a parent, a friend, anyone in this young person's life, to look around and see that somebody's behaving inappropriately, you have questions about them. Most people have to think, well, my child or this neighbor would never actually go and carry out something as hideous as this. But where is the line? Where do you get involved? Where do you talk to law enforcement?
Well, I think the problem here is most people aren't going to talk to law enforcement despite the fact that there were numerous signs in this young man's life. As I understand it, he was emotionally outcast. He didn't even sit in what they call the emo gazebo with other kids who are emotionally outcast. He had on his social media him torturing animals. He was a loner. He had said he was going to come to school and do this kind of stuff. He was forecasting this tragedy, yet nobody took action. Most people don't take action in a situation like this. Hopefully, we can all learn from this very tragic situation, and when we see something like this and we hear it and it's foreshadowed, we can tell the appropriate authorities and do something to prevent a tragedy like this from happening. Yeah,
we all certainly have that responsibility and that obligation. As you said, if nothing else good can come from this, hopefully we can take away some lessons about preventing this kind of thing from happening again. Michael Gottlieb, our best to your daughter, your friends and family down there who are going through this, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.